Hello and welcome to the second episode of MOJOKidsTVChannel6News. I'm your host, the newsman, and my name is Ace. I'm here to talk about human trafficking again, specifically some of the myths and misperceptions regarding human trafficking. After all, if we are going to stop this from happening, we need to have an accurate picture of what it looks like. When we think of human trafficking, we think of children, specifically girls, being taken away by scary strangers to bad places where horrible things happen to them. While this is a scenario that occurs, it is not the only scenario. I'm here to report on something else that is happening. There are different kinds of human trafficking, and there are different kinds of human trafficking victims. The first myth I'd like to bust is stranger danger. Sometimes when children are being trafficked, it is not by a stranger. It is by their own parents. For instance, for me, it was my mother. My mother sold me, rented me, trafficked me. People think of women as being the victims of human trafficking and not the perpetrators. Women can be and often are the perpetrators just as much as men are, as men and boys can also be the victims. Both girls and boys are human trafficked, and so are intersex people. The lack of education about intersex medical conditions and the lack of education about human trafficking are like two colliding storms, with a catastrophic societal failure as a result. Instead of the perfect storm, call it the perfect mine. Steps need to be taken to start rectifying this immediately. Before we can discuss solutions, we need to comprehensively address the problem. So what is the perfect mine? What is a mine in the first place? As I discussed in my previous and first episode of Mojo Kids TV Channel 6 News, mining is a metaphor for a specific kind of human trafficking. I referred to this as the human traffic mine. To put it bluntly, the human traffic mine refers to the factory farming of human beings, children, babies, to be bought and sold for profit, for slavery. If you'd like to know more about this, go watch my first episode of Mojo Kids Channel 6 News. For now, all you need to know is that when I refer to mining or a mine, I am talking about this, the factory farming of people. Within this kind of human trafficking, the perfect mine, so to speak, is when intersex people, children, are mined. I am referring in particular to persons who were born with vaginas and uteruses who look like boys. I am not talking about transgender people. I am talking about intersex people, children who were born with medical conditions where they either have both a penis and a vagina, thus having both estrogen and testosterone, or children that were born with vaginas yet went through the opposite puberty, aka testosterone puberty, thus developing the secondary sex characteristics of a male. Why haven't you ever heard about this on the news? Well, now you have. People talk about transgender issues, as well as this absolutely fucking asinine bathroom debate all the time. However, no one is discussing intersex people or intersex issues. What has a world full of men's rooms and women's rooms looked like for people who were born with both a penis and a vagina? There always should have been 3 bathrooms: men's rooms, women's rooms, and intersex bathrooms. People might vaguely know of the word hermaphrodite, or they might have heard such ridiculous phrases as bearded ladies and chicks with dicks. However, people are simply not educated about the nature and ramifications of these medical conditions that people are born with. In addition, standard news channels are not addressing the issues that persons born with intersex medical conditions endure. This is fucking outrageous. That is both a clinical diagnosis and a professional opinion, especially when you actualize that 1 in 1,000 people are born intersex. This is not a small number. Back on track. The perfect mine. This consists of people, often children, I want to remind everyone that teenagers are, in fact, children who have vaginas and uteruses and are being human trafficked, who are getting pregnant from such human trafficking. Yet no one suspects this because they don't look like girls. I will add that this perfect mind, so to speak, is exacerbated when you are in fact not a girl. What makes a girl? What makes a boy? It's not how you look, and it's not how you're identified at birth. Why is gender marker X not available for the birth certificates of people who are born with both a penis and a vagina? Anyways, back to what makes a boy and what makes a girl a girl. The short answer is that it is inherent in you, inherent in your frequency, inherent in the equation of the electricity that is you. The long answer is illustrated by persons born with OVO-DSD, in other words, true hermaphroditism, where you are born with both a penis and a vagina. If a penis automatically means boy and a vagina automatically means girl, as you will hear so many people say, then what about persons who are born with both? What are they then automatically? Non-binary? No. Sometimes. Intersex people can be boys, intersex people can be girls, and intersex people can be non-binary. It all depends on what is inherent in their electricity. Spirit, soul, whatever you want to call it. It's our electricity. So when I say that the perfect mind is exacerbated when someone is not a girl, I mean how they act, how they proceed through the world, how they interact. If someone naturally fits the role of a boy, fitting the boys will be boys stereotype, it would make people even less inclined to think that this boy might be pregnant due to this common misperception of reality that the way you look and the way you act dictates your sex organs. Breaking news, reporting live from an intergalactic ulcer. The fact that people who are not transgender, who look like boys, have vaginas, have uteruses, and get pregnant is a scientific fact. I have to thank a singer, songwriter, and creative director by the name of Michael Allen Patton for perfectly illustrating this in his music video for a song called Church of the Motherfuckers, with one of his many bands, Dead Cross. This video features a character who looks like a boy, and yet is pregnant. This character is identified in the credits as Pregnant Kid, quote-unquote. I initially interpreted this moniker to be obfuscation on the part of Mr. Patton. However, I soon realized its genius. You see, when someone who looks like a boy gets pregnant, sometimes they are a boy, sometimes they are a girl, and sometimes they are non-binary. In any case, they are the perfect mine for human traffickers of babies for the slave trade, because no one suspects someone who looks like a boy of being pregnant. The image that is given to us in the consciousness collective casts people who look like girls into that role. Well, here are some images taken from Mike Patton's Church of the Motherfuckers music video to help combat this propaganda. I implore you, kind people of the world, please do not turn away from this. Please do not be part of the turning away. As difficult as these images are, this is happening, and it's very important. In this music video, that I highly recommend watching, the so-called pregnant kid, who looks like a boy, appears to be in a lot of distress. Allow me to share a quote from the song. "Who will pluck the fruit from the stems of our screaming youth? If that's not about a so-called perfect mine in the baby factories of the modern slave trade, I don't know what is." Thank you, Mike Patton, for hanging back up a history erased. The layers of societal failure that cloak this perfect mine ecological disaster will have to remain the topic of a future video, but it won't be my next video. Instead, in my next video, I'm going to talk about solutions. Speaking of my next video, we're right at the end of our 10 minutes. Until next time, peace and love, kids.